Greetings, everyone, and welcome to Anime Night in the Dojo. Today's featured show, Sakamoto Days, Season 1.
Yep, Sakamoto Days, Season 1, Episode 11. Welcome back to the Dojo. I'm Ryu. That's Age. We're back for more Anime Night in the Dojo, and well, it's been one hell of a week for us. I'm sure if you see the rest of the videos on YouTube at the moment, you'll see that first one on this new channel explains what the hell happened and what we're going to be doing going forward. But I will be putting this PSA in everything for the next couple of just everything, especially since we'll be starting new shows next week. You guys can see the big logo of mine up there where the episode usually is, and you see that timer. Well, we are going to be doing timer reactions over on Patreon. So if you want to see the, if you want to watch the episode along with us, wherever you watch it, we'll be doing the timer-based reaction, so you can see where we are on the episode, and that timer will be there, just in case we have to pause it or whatever. And then the reviews and discussions will be here on this channel going forward, but only the reviews and discussions will be for anything, because I'm just not going to risk copyright again. Hopefully I get my other account back, but we're not playing that game anymore. So anyway, as for Sakamoto Days, the second part of the season has started, and has started going up, so there will not be any downtime for Sakamoto Days, because well, this is gonna be almost a week late. What would be episode 12 that we thought we were going to be waiting for will be coming out tomorrow on what would be the regularly scheduled, what would have been episode 12 anyway had it come out. And since it came out, they're on episode 14 on the dub already, so we should be good to continue Sakamoto Days without interruption, outside of it not coming out until today because of, you know, my channel being terminated with bullshit. So again, I've apologized on all the videos so far for not completely being myself, because I am remaining as professional as possible, because once again, profanity-laced tirades are not going to get anybody anywhere. But I am still very upset and not in a great mindset, because yeah, just losing anything that's yours in a very unjust way is going to aggravate you. Be very nice about it. Off cam, I am not in a great mood, but I put on the professional face for you guys here. Well, you may see me smiling and stuff. I'm not in a great mood. Both Age and I are dealing with various amounts of real life bullshit other than just that. So we're not in great spaces, but we are going to continue, as not unlike Michael Scott, we cannot be stopped. So, as for Sakamoto Days, we had the whole spa day last week. That was ridiculous. We got that still last week with Shin and Mr. Sakamoto on fire, stuff like that. But we had kind of one of those classic dual skit episodes where we got the stuff at the spa, which was fun. You know, rule of threes with the dad telling his kids, you know, when you're older, you know, got him with the ice cream thing at the end. That was hilarious. Like the younger guy that was supposed to be taking over the, you know, the spa and whatnot, and his parents are like, yeah, it's too late, nerd. And that was the end of the skit. That was great. But what we got left on was the fact that the rest of Lu's Mafia/Triad people showed up to try to convince her to come back and run the family back in China, and she told them to get bent. And the crazy stalker guy that I got to finally use the Comey clip from, look, mommy, there's a stalker. Finally got to use that one for real. We got that guy, but he challenged them to a bet for giving information on who put the hit out on Sakamoto, that kind of thing. And if they lose, Lu goes back, and she accepted the bet on behalf of the Sakamotos. But the thing was that they have to compete to see who can win the most money in the casino. Or was it, did they have to triple their money for it? No, he tripled his money like immediately on blackjack or something. I forgot what it was.
Yeah,
but the bet is to win the most money, right? In 30 minutes or something.
I don't think we saw what game he won exactly, but he like either doubled or tripled his money immediately. But yeah, they started with like,
it's like 30 million.
30 million yen or something like that, and it's whoever can make the most money in 2 hours.
Yeah, okay. So that's what's going on. It'll be interesting to see what comes of that. I can't imagine that there will be like a kind of like a mid-core story, mid-season story break kind of deal. I'm sure it'll just flow naturally, like from episode 11 to 12. So there's probably not a huge amount to discuss or speculate on that, based on what's going on. They just kind of took like a what even was it? Like a month and a half hiatus, something like that, between the two sections of the season. So yeah, maybe it was a little bit longer. I'm not entirely sure because we started this a little bit late. But yeah. So going forward, that's where we're at. So anyway, we're gonna go ahead and push some buttons and see what's up with this week. So people on YouTube will see you immediately right after on the other side of this edit. For Patreon, we'll setting up the countdown and stuff. So here goes some. Well, alrighty then. We got another showcase of Sakamoto being able to use his surroundings to benefit him. Unsurprising. Yeah, see all those pool balls he used. That was pretty impressive. We also got to see the precision thing with the roulette table. That was cool. But we ended up in the classic stalemate, and generally speaking, Old Maid is not really a tiebreaker game, but that's what it ended up being. And we did get to see Sakamoto cheat a couple times, but you know, it is what it is. You have to be able to actually draw the card. If you can't draw the card, then it's technically not breaking the rules. You have to be able to pull the card out of the person's hand. It's a weird technicality, but it's there. But get a little bit more on Wutan's backstory. Typical nerd backstory. Call it that. They even used the word nerd. So how about that? Go full nerd. But kind of like brings
go full nerd.
kind of brings full circle as to why he ended up going full stalker mode on Lou, because in last episode she just kind of mentions that, like, yeah, just one day he just started following. It's like, well, this right here is why he started following. So
yeah.
That pretty much completes that entire backstory. So that's handled. The other major thing that kind of came out of this is that Shin has kind of a limit on his power as to what he can do. He can only read so much into somebody if they're capable of just, you know, going full ham and obfuscating what they can do with the layers of subconscious kind of deal.
Oh yeah, this is the Mao case from Code Geass, where it's like, even if you can read a person's mind, your mind can only handle so much. Yep. So like Mao always has to drown out all the extra thoughts. Right. And in this case, it's just the one guy is capable of producing so many thoughts because he's so smart that he by himself was enough to overload Shin's mind reading.
Right. The last time I kind of saw something similar to this personally was one of the characters in Knights of the Old Republic used a technique like this, where he would like play Pazak in his head to infuse like mind reading and empath powers like Jedi's had, that kind of thing. So this is fairly similar to that. It's just kind of like you go to read his mind and all you hear is Pazak. You know what I mean? He's just playing Pazak in his head constantly to just not be able to be read, kind of deal. So, but this is taking it to the extreme of just he's literally overloading Shin with information. Whereas, I forget the name of that character. It was like Atten or something. But that was like the only thing. Yeah, the only thing he would ever focus on was Pazak. So that's all you would get. You would just that would be what you would get out of him, is only him playing Pazak and nothing else. So.
Yeah, that was like his defense mechanism of just you'd constantly be like counting Pazak cards in his head and stuff like that. So that way, if anyone tried to read his mind, that's all they'd get. And if anyone ever questioned it, he would know they tried to read his mind. Right.
So this is kind of one way to take a guy out of the game, is just, you know, he just falls over and passes out, so you can't exactly play anymore. But yeah, interesting tiebreaker situation. I mentioned this during the reaction of Utan just kind of like bluffing these guys. Like him, it's a reasonably credible bluff coming from him because he is like the smart guy, and the rest of them.
He's infamously known for being the know-it-all who plans for everything. And then, like I said, it has the extra layer of credibility of he's been spending basically the entire night telling them not to try to fight and use their guns and stuff like that, to not resort to violence.
Right.
So when he says that when he later says the bluff here of all your guns are rigged to explode if you use them, it lends an extra layer of credibility to the bluff.
Right. But at the end of the day, if these guys were smarter, which obviously they're not, they pointed out that they're like the average, meathead, like grunt of the like triad mafia, whatever you want to call them. I would have immediately called bullshit because that would mean you're sabotaging your own team from potential danger at its core, and you're not going to do that as a leader. You know what I mean? So if they were smarter, calling that bluff would have been reasonably easy. While I could believe that he could have rigged a few of the guns of the more problematic members, still, like,
that would have been the more believable bluff, is to basically call him out and say that and actually like claim that he knew the handful of them that were going to betray him and he rigged their guns, and then just leave it at that. And then it becomes a case of everyone's hesitant to be the one to fire because no one knows if they're the ones with the rigged guns or not.
Right, because then it could literally be anyone. Even if you think you're the most trustworthy, that backup of like, well, what if he doesn't trust me? Because you don't entirely know. But still reasonable bluff. I mean, it's going to work on guys like this who are, not real big thinkers, obviously. As you can see, they just immediately wanted to resort to violence and didn't really understand the situation they were in because, well, as we saw, Sakamoto took them all down anyway. So, yeah, it was kind of irrelevant.
Even if they had their guns, Sakamoto would have been able to friggin' clear the entire place by himself.
Yeah. So that was pretty much a moot point. Yes, Wutan disarmed him, but it basically just saved collateral damage for the casino. They're gonna have to replace all their pool balls and cues. So at least there's not bullet holes in the wall, right? So that's something. But yeah, interesting situation for what it was. I guess they did get a couple holes in the wall, talking about throwing stuff, but that is what it is.
That particular one was when Utan was shooting at the guy.
Yeah, fair enough, right. But I think that was when I was busy talking about that, so I forgot about that bit. They did rope him into helping with the convenience store as he was explaining what was going on with the hit, and we got a little bit more on Slur because apparently it was him that did it. So
yeah, we figured it was either based on the fact that he has a history with Sakamoto and the fact that he only became active after the bounty was placed. It was basically only one of two options. Either he was the one who placed the bounty, or he knew who placed the bounty and went on his thing in retaliation for the bounty being placed.
Right. So get a little bit more on him, but this was just them setting up the next major problems, which are this group of foreign assassins that were on death row and were broken out by Slur to do a thing, which they all have a very unique and interesting talent, especially the guy that can literally turn you into bald meat. It's like super compression guy. So
yeah, we each got a kill method for them. We had a kill method for each of them. And over the course of the conversation, it was revealed whose method is each. Which the obvious one that was constantly being demonstrated is the big guy being the one who crushes people.
Yeah.
The other ones were a bit more subtle. The next most obvious one being the super depressed guy mentioning the whole, oh no, they're going to cut me up, which is a very clear indication that he's the one who chops the people into pieces.
Yep.
The most obscure one is the next guy, which he's the one who perforates people. Was his stuff that he's saying, like I said, is the most obscure and the least direct connection. The easiest way to deduce that he is the perforator is because of the fact it's just by process of elimination. Because the next most obvious one is the girl who comments about everyone being ugly, aka she's the one who removes everyone's skin.
Yeah. So this is going to be the next lineup. Definitely some powerful individuals, so that's going to be a thing. But it's not just Sakamoto they're after. That list had other members of the Order on it, as well as the Sakamoto gang.
Yeah.
So...
yeah, we only saw 4 of the people on the list, but the list was multiple pages.
Yeah.
But everyone that we saw was Order members.
Right.
It was Nagano, Sakamoto, the guy with the hammer, and the chick with the saw.
Yep. And as we can see here, there's multiple pages, so we'd assume that, like, Slur is probably completely opposed to the Order in general, and just the JIA. So...
presumably it's everyone in the Order, probably plus anyone working at the convenience store, and then a handful of other like major association players that Slur just hasn't gotten around to yet.
Right. So, as it stands, that's a pretty reasonable place to like leave it for the like the first half of this season. So I'm sure it'll just pick right back up. So it's not like they kind of left like a little bit of a cliffhanger for the hiatus that the show did go on for like a couple months there, like whatever that was. But yeah, I'm sure it'll just pick right back up where it is, and this is gonna be the next big story arc. So again, not having the source material knowledge, we don't know how long this goes, like how far behind the source material it is, like what's going on with that. But
I know the source material is still relatively recent, so it's probably not too far. But some authors can freaking speed run, especially when it's the early parts of their projects.
Right. So
I mean, freaking Komi is massive, and Komi's only been going for like 6 or 7 years now.
Yeah. So
like that author freaking hoofed it.
Yeah, that dude. that guy went full ham. I mean, that's very long series. Like we talked about, I think I've mentioned it. I would say you guys could go back, but there's no archive right now because of what happened. But it's something we have talked about, like when we did the first couple seasons of Komi, and I question whether they're going to continue it because, damn, dude, there ends up being like 450 some odd chapters, and they got through, I think, like the first like 80 or something in the first 2 seasons, so it would be a long grind.
Yeah, which by comparison, most other stuff usually goes for at most like 80-ish volumes, which each volume is typically like 3 or 4 chapters.
Yep.
So that you're looking at like at most like a little over 200 chapters for the average length series.
Yep. So based on Sakamoto Days being on Netflix and stuff like that, I assume that this is probably going to follow the entire series, and it's not going to be one of the, like we talked about with I Parry Everything, probably being a go read the manga kind of situation. This has a lot of production value. So, it's pretty popular. So I'd assume that it's going to keep going, like stuff that's going to keep going. You know, like the like My Dress Up Darling. You know, shows like some of the stuff that we recently did. Obviously, Bleach, that kind of thing. Stuff that's going to continue, like the Isekai Quartet shows. Those are going to go all the way through, like reincarnated as a slime. That's already confirmed that the next season is going to wrap up where the source material is going to wrap up, that kind of deal. So Sakamoto Days definitely feels like the kind of show that's not in the go finish it with the manga or so whatever the source material is, light novel, whatever it is, kind of deal. Whereas something like Komi, I just, while as popular as that was and still is, like, while people did have like a bit of a gripe with how it ended, very Sopranos-esque, I'll just kind of that. I just don't see that studio that did it, and because that was another Netflix series, I don't see them adapting all of that. And they could probably get away with cutting out a lot of what would be like the fluff and stuff, but that was a skit-based show, and I don't know how it would translate if they just did what would equate to the main character, like overarching story stuff, and just skipping all the side characters. That's like, oh yeah, by the way, Komi made friends with all these other characters, like off-screen kind of deal, and only show them a couple times because a lot of the like side characters become like really big and relevant. So I don't know how they would handle that by skipping certain skits just to get through like the main story with like the major main cast characters. So yeah, that's a whole other thing though. So if people out there were waiting for more Komi to be animated, I really kind of doubt it.
Yeah.
Which is a shame because it was a fun show up to that point. But having had the time to like read a couple things during my like bouts of insomnia, having to deal with the flooding situation in our house and stuff, that was one of the things I just wanted to just kind of see, and it ended up just kept going so long, and I was like, we're still going, huh? And it's just, I mean, they go through all 3 years of the high school experience, but man, something similar recently that freaking like Aharen-san, like that's 2 seasons, and in those 24 episodes, they go through all 4 years of high school in the anime. I don't know how it is at the source material, but yeah, they go through all the years of high school in the anime in 24-ish episodes. So
it's a bit longer than that, but K-On! Does the same thing.
It's like, K-On! Does the same thing.
It's like 40-something episodes, and they go through the entirety of high school.
Yep.
For the course of it.
Meanwhile, like I said, Komi has like 450 chapters, and they really pack it in there. It's not like it's bad. Like most of it's entertaining and stuff. Some of the stuff is like as I was reading, and I was like, well, did we really need this? Like, but you know, we all know that authors get attached to certain characters and stuff like that, and into like this groove of like, I want to write more about this character, and they become a major thing. And then certain characters are forgotten about. I won't say who if you haven't read it, but it's just one of the things that becomes a mainstay in that is the past of Komi, how Komi it becomes like one of the major side stories of that is the How I Met Your Mother situation for Komi's parents, and that just becomes like a recurring thing all the way till the end of the series when they finally finish it. So that was another major thing. I was just like, why are they doing this like so piecemeal? And then by like the 5th one, I was like, he's just throwing these in whenever at this point. It's like, I don't know what to write this week. Another episode of how Komi and Komi's dad eventually got married.
So on a similar note of the whole like long series and authors just going hard, and to kind of segue into talking about the next shows we're doing, Gachi Akuda is one of the new shows we're going to be doing, and that has only been going for a little over 2 years and already has 15 volumes and 130 chapters.
Dude is powering it out, man. That's why this first season, I believe, is freaking 2 core, 24 episodes. So if you like that, they're going to be probably doing it.
From everything I've heard, the source material is really freaking good, and people have been wanting an anime adaptation basically as soon as possible for it.
Yep.
Which, once again, the author is supposed to be like best friends with the Soul Eater author and took a lot of inspiration from the original Soul Eater manga for making Gachi Akuda.
Right. So we are definitely looking forward to starting that next week. It will be coming on after, right after this, technically, actually, because this is wait, no, because Sakamoto ended on 11 and not 12, so it'll be coming up after the next episode tomorrow. That comes out tomorrow because I had to. My schedule is all borked because of my other channel being terminated with bullshit. So once again, go watch that video and spread the word on that because it's friggin' ridiculous. Trying to help other smaller creators and whoever, and that system for YouTube definitely needs to be changed because it's ridiculously bad. So as for Sakamoto Days, yeah, we'll just be able to roll right into episode 12 because episode 11 was where it left off when it cut off in like April or whatever it was when we started this. So next set of episodes have already started up, so we can just roll right into that, and that'll come out tomorrow like we thought it would. So my timing for that was pretty spot on for once, and we're not getting screwed over by releases just yet. You know, cross our fingers. Like we did, you know, earlier this year when everything exploded with Danmachi and all that stuff. That was... I don't want to talk about it. That sucked. That was horrendous. I don't want to do it. I don't want to talk about it anymore. But, yeah, so it'll be interesting to see what's up with these 4 characters, who they end up going up against, because I can't imagine all of them are going to end up going up against Sakamoto. We'll probably get more of, like, the actual Order members dealing with at least half of this set of 4, and Sakamoto will end up dealing with like 2 of them probably. So
I imagine Sakamoto will probably end up against the Perforator guy, and that the others will be like divvied out amongst. I imagine Sakamoto will go against the Perforator. Lu and Shin will probably end up. Well, Lu, Shin, and potentially Heisuke will end up like basically having a group fight one. And which I'm not 100% sure who that would be. Maybe the depressed guy. But then the other 2, I imagine, will probably be border fodder.
Right. So yeah.
I assume that the Skinner chick is probably going to end up against the Chainsaw chick.
Right. Vaguely similar character archetypes, that kind of thing. So, either way, we'll be able to jump right back into Sakamoto Days tomorrow and reset the schedule here. Just everything being on this channel, and then when I get the Patreon set up, all the timer reaction stuff will be over there. So, once again, we'll not be behind a paywall, just putting it over there just for, even with I'm blocking everything out, I just don't trust YouTube anymore. Not that I really trusted them to begin with, but I'm not going to risk it, and I've wanted to start a Patreon thing anyway, just to kind of have it in case I ever need to do Patreon-related activities. So just have some stuff over there, and once again, anything that's like video-related, unless it's like something super far in the future or whatever that needs to be that we feel needs to be paywalled, we'll do it like a once-in-a kind of thing, but all the reaction stuff is just going to be there. But yeah, I just have to figure out, because I've never like set up an actual Patreon page. I just know that you can post video content there. You know, I just have to set it up so that you don't have to like subscribe or whatever. I know there's ways to just tell it you don't have to. You can just be a free member or whatever it is. I'll just have to figure that out. But by the time this is, you know, come out, hopefully the links will be up and whatnot. And I'll have to backfill some of the other videos to like link to the Patreon post of each specific episode. So anyway, we got one more episode in this recording session to do, so we're gonna head off and do that. But yeah, I'm looking forward to the second half of Sakamoto Days here, which we don't have to wait for. So that's cool too. Ladies and gentlemen, people of YouTube, beyond heavy watching, we always appreciate you stopping by and hanging out with us here in the dojo for more anime night in the dojo. And this was Sakamoto Days, Season 1, Episode 11. So have a good morning, evening, afternoon, whatever it is for you. Have a good one. See you next time.
Hey everyone, Victoria here. If you enjoyed the video, please consider pushing those like and subscribe buttons. Your support is greatly appreciated. Thanks again for your time, and we hope to see you again in the future.